Bhavik, thanks for your time. I just wanted to tell you about a new commercial real estate app that we're building that's going to help you get more customers, and we wanted to see what you thought.
Okay.
So to start off, let me tell you more about our company and our team, and I think that after I show you our PowerPoint deck, everything will be crystal clear.
Okay.
Let's take a look.
20 minutes later.
So, what do you think? Will you buy it?
No, I'm not really interested. Thank you.
Bhavik, thanks for your time. I wanted to show you our new commercial real estate app that I think is going to help you get a lot more customers and see what you think.
Okay.
So if you look here,
20 minutes later.
so what do you think? Will you buy it?
No, I'm not really interested. Thank you.
So what Kevin did is what all great entrepreneurs do at first, is that they're so passionate about their product, they believe they understand the customer problem and implicitly understand every possible feature the customers want, and therefore think all they need to do is show the slide deck or the app or the prototype and people will just empty their wallets out in front of them. It turns out that's a mistake, a big mistake, because when Kevin spoke to Bhavik, he was making a set of assumptions that were just simply wrong. Those assumptions, those hypotheses, are nothing more than guesses. And instead of trying to sell your app or show your pitch, what you really need to be doing is listening and asking questions about whether your assumptions are matched by what the customers believe. Let's see the right way to go do this.
Bhavik, thanks for your time. I'm Kevin from realestatepro.com, and we're trying to solve a problem that we think that all real estate brokers may have. Today, what I'd like to do is talk to you about what your job is, how you go about it on a day-to-day basis, and what your routines are.
Okay, is it going to take long?
Oh, no. I'll take up just 20 minutes of your time. So I understand from our mutual friend Phil that you sell commercial real estate?
That's right.
And so do you work for a larger firm or just by yourself?
It's actually a large firm. We are all over the country, and I'm based in this office here in the Bay Area.
So 3 minutes later.
And so do most brokers work that way?
At least all of my peers, we all work the same way. We have the same management style and the
So
same
2
accounts.
minutes later.
And how's your company organized?
It's organized by divisions and regions, and we are in this region here in California. And we all
So
have
3.5
accounts.
minutes later.
So who are your customers? How do you go about finding them? How do you maintain relationships with them? And what problems do you have maintaining those?
So in these first interviews, what Kevin is really trying to do is trying to understand three things. First, he's trying to understand, how does the customer even do their job today? Assuming Kevin's not a domain expert, that's kind of the first step in trying to understand the customer. The second thing he's trying to understand is the customer archetype. That is, in a business, you really don't have 25 different types of customers. They kind of fall into buckets. There's usually more than one archetype, but there's usually less than 3 or 4 in an early stage venture. And the third thing you're trying to figure out is whether your assumption about the problem and the value of the problem is actually shared by the customer. Now understand, what we just talked about is all about the problem and customer at first. It's not about showing your product or talking about slides or pitching your presentation or anything yet. And I just want to give you the good word that it's okay. Because as a great entrepreneur, you're going to be dying to demo either PowerPoint or wireframe or do something about your product. And all I could say is resist the urge to talk and spend your time asking questions and listening.
Bhavik, thanks for your time. I'm Kevin from realestatepro.com, and I'm out to solve a problem that I think all real estate brokers have. What I'd like to do today is ask you some questions to see if I understand the problems that you have.
Happy to help.
Fantastic. And if I do so, I have a working prototype that I'd like to potentially show you and get your feedback on.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay.
So, to start off, what are the biggest 3 problems that you deal with in your business?
Getting a qualified lead of customers, making sure there are enough customers, and then following up with these customers.
So this is so important. How do you solve it today?
depend a lot on Excel, on email, on my peers. We use some analytics that are being put together by my assistant. It's just a lot of different pieces that we just kludge together.
So let me make sure I understand this. Finding qualified customers is your biggest pain point, and currently you're doing it using Excel spreadsheets and pacing and kludging an ad hoc system together.
Yeah.
So asking the customer to confirm that Kevin really does understand the problem now gives Kevin permission to go on to the next step, which is actually testing the solution.
So what if instead I could solve that using...
2.5 minutes later.
Well, that's interesting. But you kind of left out a couple of things that would actually make this a lot more valuable to me in solving my pain points.
I see. So you also need features A and B. Why is that?
So this is a big idea. Notice Kevin's now talking about a possible solution, but he hasn't demoed it yet. He's held himself back from bringing out that PowerPoint or wireframe or app, and in not doing so, he's actually learning a lot. He allowed the customer to say, hey Kevin, your description is great, but you're really missing some things that I really need that Kevin didn't quite hear the first time. If he would have jumped right into the demo, the customer would have felt like he had to say yes, great, or something else. But in a dialogue, you're still extracting more information about customer needs.
Wow, this is extremely fascinating. You're teaching me so much. Would you mind if I showed you some ideas that we're working on?
You have a presentation?
Well, actually, we have a working wireframe that I'd like to show you, and I'd like to discuss what you think.
30 minutes later.
Oh, Kevin, with these changes, it solves the two things that I mentioned earlier. This could be a killer app for us.
Steve, this whole customer discovery process has been incredible. I've been learning a ton, getting out of the building, and the last 30 days has opened my eyes to so much.
That's great.
And I really think that now I'm ready and I've learned enough to go out and raise some money.
So how many customers did you talk to in the last month, Kevin?
7.
7 a day?
No, 7 total.
So, Kevin, I hate to tell you, I know you've been working hard or think you've been working hard, but you're just going through the motions of customer discovery. Customer discovery is about collecting a bunch of customer data so you can make decisions, not only based on the data, but extracting insight out of that data. You're building a mobile app, and there's no way talking to 7 people allows you to understand the customer problem, the customer archetype, how they spend their day, etc. You just have random data points. You really need to be talking to 10 to 15 customers a week, either via Skype or in person. And by the way, SurveyMonkey and online stuff doesn't cut it here. So you need to decide whether you're serious about this process or you just want to use the words.
Okay. Steve, this whole customer discovery process has been incredible. We've been getting out of the building, learning a ton. We talked to 48 customers in this past month.
Wow.
And we think that we've learned a lot.
So what did you learn?
Well, when we talked to customers, they told us 67% said they wanted feature X, 32% wanted feature Y, but only about 7% wanted feature Z.
Great. But what did you learn?
What do you mean, what did we learn? They told us exactly what they wanted and in what order.
But Kevin, do you understand who they are, what their problems are, how they're solving the problem today, what their alternatives are, what they pay for, whether this is valuable?
But they told us exactly what they wanted.
So, Kevin, you really haven't done customer discovery. What you've done is just done an accounting focus group problem. And that's not what discovery is. Discovery is truly understanding how customers spend their day. By the time you're done with discovery, you want to be able to go to that whiteboard and draw the day in the life of the customer. What they do from the minute they get up in the morning, what newspaper or blog they're reading, what car they're driving, what software they're using at work, what do they do to entertain themselves, who do they work for, who else is in their family. If you don't understand that and all you're going for is the features, you're simply trying to solve an accounting problem. Accountants don't run startups. You need to be the customer. You need to get back out there and do that.
Okay.